Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very excited. I've been waiting for this moment, and I am.
Okay,
Yes, we are excited for today. We are grateful for your time, my friend.
fab. So can I just introduce this?
Yes, it is wise.
Cool. So I just want to say to you guys who are listening and watching this, so today we're recording Sharon and a new guide, Mary, who's going to talk about TSB, as in trance state of being, for One Spiritual Movement, YouTube Let's Talk, and our podcast, Quantum Awakening, Exploring Conscious Evolution. So, Mary, carrying on from that last convo and the part where you left off with on the last YouTube video saying that you knew my higher self, I was wondering if you would mind elaborating on the relationship you have with her and what dimension of consciousness she resides in currently.
My relationship with your higher self is not long.
Okay.
You might be disappointed in that because your mind's been exploring all sorts of possibilities, I'll be saying to you, which is very interesting for us.
Yeah.
But it's just since we've decided to have this collaboration, and I have talked to your higher self, and I am acquainted with the energy, the being that is presented to you, and we will talk about the ninth dimension around her.
Cool.
Very elevated, and it needs to be to cope with you, my dear. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know, I really feel today that I have found my voice, because the other day when I arrived, I was being pulled to and fro, and I was dealing with the energies, and if you think about it, it's the first time I've actually arrived to speak to you. And I have been working with our energies behind the scenes. And she has felt it because, you know, she's writing her book. Well, we have finished channeling the main source of that information now. And we're now moving into this because it gives her space.
Cool.
So we've been working very busy behind the scenes. I have a really good connection today. I do not know how long it would last because it is early days, but because of her elevated levels, I'm hoping that we can have at least 30 minutes of your time.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We did talk about it in the last video, and if you viewers have not taken the time out of your human life to go and view that, I recommend you do. And the podcast, well, again, view the blog on One Spiritual Movement. It's like an advertising session, this, isn't it? And what has been shared out so far about this knowledge, it has been labelled TSB because you are in a trance state of being, and this is what we know it as, and we don't really call it anything else. And it is important to realise that this is something that has been with her for over thousands of years, over 300,000 years of your time. So I'm happy to say that it has never gone. It is humans' understanding of it and how it's been used, and it's now being brought back into the forefront of reality to enhance your telepathic communication. With this source of energy, we can transport into the future. We can travel back into the past. We can look at past lives. It has lots of uses for the help of humanity, and it has uses beyond your earth. It is used with many celestial beings. So we talked earlier to the sitter, which you know as Sharon, in through her mind, and we mentioned past lives. Another little area of it which we just dropped on her today.
Yeah.
But we find it is an interesting area that many humans are intrigued by. Now there's those amongst you humans, and I will give all sides of the coin because I only think it's fair to the listeners to have it.
Cool.
There's some of you that believe there aren't past lives. They are guides. They are guides that have had several overseeing of beings or humans on Earth. And what that human taps into, which they believe is a past life, is actually the guide's association with another being. But I tell you, you're wrong. Past lives exist. They exist on Earth. And some of your higher selves have been involved in the incarnation program on other planets. Your human essence, when it goes back to source, does not always come back to Earth into the human baby, because human always exists through the universe. How do you think you were made, my friends? You were made from the cellular structure of humans on Earth, and you were made from other beings. And if you want to take time, the interest of the Lemurians, the Anakai, the Arturians are just a few, with the help of the Sartorians to help the mix and to get it right. And I would say we still not got it right, I'm afraid, but we are working on it. So, Amanda, what should we do today? The choice is yours.
What?
So we can go into the future again and give an example of a date further than before, which I believe was 2058 we established.
Yeah.
Or you can take the bravery for me to travel down your timeline into a past life and bring forward information. It would have been a thing that's not too private, if you understand my meaning.
Yeah.
But it'd be an association of an existence you've had, and it might not even be on Earth. Well, that would make it interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's do that.
Would you are willing to expose yourself to the public eye?
Yeah.
Good. Well, the last one showed the future connection. Perhaps we should explain to your viewers how this works. Shall we explain it?
That would be amazing, please.
So with the future connection, and if you haven't watched the previous YouTube, which I suspect some of you haven't, so I'm going to explain it again, is that when you sit in the chair like this with the sitter, the moment I set the intention, and notice the word I set the intention to move forward on her timeline into the future that I see is based from the moment of that connection. Now, there are multiverse timelines that exist within the universe, and it could be tomorrow I could come again, and I sit and I set the same attention to the same year in the future, and it would be slightly different. Because things can change. Imagine if you set it 200 years from now. So much can alter. One person's decision, if it wasn't quite on the right path, can alter all futures, or their future. So why do we do it, you say? Well, you're interested in it. And we do it to enhance the telepathic communication of the sitter. And we want you to know what your future can hold, but we don't want to bring fear with it.
Can I ask you a question?
You are allowed.
How does it help with the sitter's telepathic communication when you're doing this kind of stuff with the development?
So I'm working through her brain.
Yeah.
And in the early stages of trance, we use communication from the consciousness of the life, where she has many words, many feelings, many experiences. When I then come through and channel through her subconscious, through to consciousness, through the voice,
yeah,
she's had to step aside, but I'm enhancing her brain activity. The energy of the brain alters.
I understand that.
And I will then speak my words or say whatever needs to be said. But when we're doing the well, this is all trans-stated being, but this specifically TSB exercises, perhaps we should refrain it down a bit to something like that, is that she will be enhancing her brain through my energies going through her, because I am channeling through her energy timeline, her ethereal presence, her human essence, not mine. Mine would be fascinating for you all, and we could have thousands of episodes of what I've seen and shared in this universe, I can tell you. But it's not the focus, is it?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So if you're ready, you need to just relax, Amanda. You don't have to shut your eyes, because you will not really be aware that I'm going down your timeline, but you might get a slight shift of energy, you might get to tingling or sense some sensations.
Yeah,
but do not speak them now.
Okay.
We will ask you on our return from your past.
Okay.
So I am going to go now from this moment of existence back into your past. I am being taken to the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
Do not speak, my friend.
Sorry.
Just focus on what is being the timeline, because I will explain that if your subconscious if your consciousness is speaking, it can affect your subconscious energy. So I know it's exciting, but just allow me to do what I have to do.
Okay.
I travel back to the 1600s, and it is a village. The village is not in what you'd understand as your England. It is in an area of France, a province, very near to the area of Spain, you'd understand. You come from quite a religious, and really the Catholic system hasn't really perhaps got to you yet, but you come from quite a religious background within your society, within that little village setting. You are a daughter. You are 17 at the time I'm seeing you. You are wearing a white cap. Your clothes are very plain. You are more what I would like to phrase in your language as a peasant girl. And the picture I'm seeing at the moment is you have an area where you have fowl, I suppose we call them chickens, and you are feeding them. And around you is the setting of a rural life. But you're not normal. People are wary of you because you have the sight. And the sight is seen not in the language of the French, perhaps you'd understand as witchcraft, but you have the sight and healing abilities within your lifetime. At the moment of where I am connecting, there is an innocence to you. You have yet to know men in your life, so there is an innocence around you, and yet you seek to leave your village. You wish to leave and go further afield, but that is not what your life is about. But you are a healer, and you grow what you'd understand as herbs, but they're more wild. You go seeking wild and mushrooms and toadstools, and you know about these type of substances that can heal humans. You are ridiculed by others. You have a limp. You are not seen as a prospect for marriage, even though you are not an ugly woman. So you are isolated, and your family is your grandmother, who is still alive in this setting, understands you, but others don't. And it's because she also has the sight. Do you know it quite often runs in families? But don't answer that. I'm stating that for the observers. And then, what are you there to learn in your life is where I'm next going to explore. You have come to bring light to others, and because you have a disability which you were born with, so one of your legs is slightly shorter than the other, it has made you apart from your normal sisters and brothers and peers of that age. And you had a sight from the earlier age, so they always thought you were strange and unusual. It wasn't to the extent of you brewing concoctions and turning people into frogs and anything like that. But you could see things coming, and you sensed the right and the wrong in people. And the healing comes from your grandmother with the healing herbs and nature's flora that can heal others. She did not have long on this world after this time period. I can see that she is frail, and from what I see, she is near her death. You knew this as a 17-year-old, and you had fear around this. And your life was deliberately so you could be different, because it was to teach others, and some which learnt from your life. I'm not going beyond the 17 years with this, but I'm trying to find out what your purpose was on Earth, which is not being shown to me at the moment, but I am digging a bit deeper. Your purpose was to bring lessons to others. Your purpose was to show them, a bit like now in the modern age when children are born with disabilities or Down syndrome. They are highly ascended souls. Higher selves are very highly ascended. And they've had many journeys with the life of the human essence. And you are the same. You are there to see that a woman that is thought to be crippled can be kind and can help others. It also went a little bit against some religious beliefs. So you were there to bring change in thought patterns as well. Even though it isolated you and you became a victim of many shunts and jokes, you were existing in the higher good. And that is how you managed to survive the life that you led there. You were very drawn to animals in that time period, and of course animals back then were not so much as family pets as perhaps now. As rural farmers and a peasant girl, a chicken would be slain for food, the eggs for food, but you were drawn to the kittens that were born wild, and the dogs and the puppies. And there's a horse there as well, which is an old horse, but she was your responsibility. There's the siblings I look round to see. There seem to be younger siblings running around. And I sense that you are the elder of the group of children of 6. I'm given the name Teresa for you. I was just checking because the Teresa saint is known, but I wish to check the name, and it's been given for your name that you were then. And the name Lamont seems to be a surname. Lamont, how do you spell that? Lymont. We'd have to check that with the French spelling. That is what I've been given. Lamont. And at this stage, your mother and father are still alive. Oh, we have a drinker in the house. He was a drinker. Did not help things, I do believe. And he used to stare at you and think, how did we produce this one? Yes, so your life then, at this timeline I'm looking in on, was a life for you of struggle, and yet you brought questions into that time of thinking. Think of the Nostradamus that was born in that time period. You can see that back in that time period we were trying to do quite a lot to bring change and to bring different types of thinkers into the Earth's energy. So you were an elevated star child back then to bring change, to make it simple for you. So I'm going to pull back now. Ah, you have a question. Sorry, ask me the question.
I do?
Yes. Well, don't you want to ask about your past life?
There's two. Is that okay?
Yes.
So currently I still have an issue with my right leg, and I've said to my chiropractor I got one leg longer than the other, but she currently believes that it's my hips outplacement, and the isolation part is still playing a part at the minute in my life.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So we will pull forward the energy from that past life for you.
Okay.
And these all sit within your DNA. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
So human essence, your DNA. And we are pulling this energy forward, and we're going to heal that energy from that physical form in the past, because we don't want any of that to come forward. And I want you to imagine your body, and I want you to focus on the area where you feel that you have one leg shorter or longer than the other, where you always focus on when you think about it. You have that focus?
Yeah.
And I want you now to set the intention for us to take away that energy that doesn't serve you anymore. Your guides are doing it at the moment. I'm not doing it.
Cool.
And what is the second?
So I've always been curious around where the part in my family, because I know things get passed down through subconsciously patterns and things.
Yes.
Especially around where the alcoholism has come in from. Is that the starting point of it?
You had alcoholism in your past.
Okay.
Your father in that life I've just described hit the bottle. In fact, it wasn't the bottle, I'd say it was the barrels. The barrels. It can be that many lessons come forward to come into past lives to be relearned. So if there's alcoholism in the family again, I would say it's not so much for you this time, it's more their lesson. But because you have distant memories that have affected you, or could have affected you, and I'm just looking out to see where we can help with that. You can't disassociate from it so much. It's just you learning from what you're seeing others doing, that you don't bring it into your own life and it becomes part of your existence. Because I am being told that in the past alcohol has been part of an existence for you, for yourself. So lessons have been learned. But it's not just alcohol, it's any form of a substance abuse can affect you in this lifetime. Not you personally, but others around you. Now the hard thing with that, as you probably know from society you live in now, that alcoholics, drug abusers, molesters, if we want to go down that route, all have an illness that has to be dealt with. Some can be helped and some can't. It destroys those around them. It is part of the lessons that many have chosen to come. Why would you want to do that? But you do at the moment while you're in your 3D energy. It is part of the growth of humanity. And each time a human essence comes back, and the higher self who's been here before and they've drudged through the 3D energy and they've said, right, this time it's more elevated, let's have another go. Let's see how we can improve this earth. They come back again, and they might come back again. But each time you come back, it's not always the same lesson. It could be that you've learnt your lesson and that the others are now here to learn theirs, and you will help them. Or you might learn spiritually to step back and think, I can't help everybody and they have to run their course. That is one of the hardest things for a human to do on the spiritual path. Because the natural one of a spiritual path is to help.
That's what I can see happening right now, and it feels weird.
You just have to understand what I've said.
Yeah.
Listen back and understand that you cannot help everyone. You can love them, but you can't always help them.
Yeah.
So I would send them healing every day around the situation they're in and ask for guidance to be brought to them. Now, the contradiction of that, it might be they have to go through worse yet to see the light, or it might be they'll never leave this earth plane within that light. They will leave in the state they are in at the moment. That I cannot answer for you at this moment in time. Because quite often you set your plans that you will have that spiritual enlightenment, but sometimes it's not achieved. And that is why some choose to come back, and others might say, I really have had enough of this run on earth. Let's have a change. I'm not really gaining anything out of this. I myself, my beautiful essence, ethereal body of light, now wishes to have a change.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that's helped you.
Can I ask one more thing for you?
Yes, I'm drawn back from your energy now. But I have enough to know answers.
This is not for me, this is for the people that are watching more so. Could you elaborate more a little around what an elevated star seed is, please, or star child? So they understand.
You've done a podcast on this, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
But I was not meaning to criticise you, but the podcast has information in there. But the simplified version, so I can answer you in the simple terms, is that, how should we word this one? You are all from the celestial energies. You are all celestial beings. No matter if you're in the 3D energy up to the 12D energy. And the reason you're all star children. So what Amanda is asking is the word elevated comes in, if you notice that, listeners and viewers. Elevated means that that child has been born into this earth's atmosphere to bring light, change, and could be a radicalist. That's the one with the board saying peace, don't pollute our worlds. Could be a nurse. It could be that in the future that star child will be a grandmother to a child that's going to be born 3 generations ahead and become a spiritual person to help those generations that come after her while she's alive on this earth. So star children are born in to change your world, to bring change, to bring light, to be the voice of the future. They will be the new ground workers in whatever path they are here to take, and there'll be thousands and thousands of them. And I do believe when we, or say we, like the royal we, it wasn't me, but when you did that podcast before, you touched on different elements of the different types of star children.
Yeah.
The reason they are given labels is because they're coming in on different levels of energy. They're not all coming in on the same energy that's going to help Earth. Some are more elevated. Some might have more highly ascended to higher selves. Some might have more highly ascended guides working with them. It might be they're coming in to make one change in someone else's life. So there's a huge picture out there, everyone, and it really is important that you see and understand this. So when you're working like Amanda and Sharon do, they have moments and they think, oh my God, why am I doing this? What's the point? We don't seem to be making a lot of change. You are making huge change. Look at the people that listen to your work, that you, Amanda, have had through you, who've given readings to, you talk to in your workplace. Do you see what I mean? Your, what's it called? Networking. So every time you talk or make a change, this will make a change. It won't be everybody's cup of tea, and they might go, oh, here's the loonies again. And there'll be others going, oh, this resonates with me. This is me. Oh, thank God I found this pair to listen to their podcast or their videos. Do you see?
Cool.
So I think it might be time to go now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed. I'm so glad I found my voice. And I feel the link is so strong. There's clapping behind me. John is elevated. And we're all very happy.
Cool. John's funny.
Well, if you're with him day in and day out, you might not think that.
Is he bossy?
No, he's the wisest among many of us. And we're silly to never listen to him. But I'm elevated. I'm in his level. But we all have our own strengths, like humans do.
Yeah.
We all have our own strengths. And John is an organizer in our understanding. You understand him as John. But his name is Bakut. That is how we call him. But we also have, I'm just not shutting up today. I'm sorry, guys. I will be with you in a minute. But I just like to talk. If I find my voice, I'm going to speak it. I definitely have to go. I am sorry about this. We will come again soon.
It's because you get excited like I see.
We do. We are elevated. We are elevated. Oh, the excitement. And it's the excitement from us that drives the energy for this.
Cool. Thank you.
Greetings.